Hey Kim, it's May 30th, 2026, the last Saturday of May, and I've made a couple of videos but didn't get them posted, and then I was sick last weekend, so it's going to be a big tour. That's what I'm getting at. It's going to be a big tour. So buckle up, get a glass of water, a cup of tea, and let's get started. So here's one pot of marigolds that is doing really well. Marigolds are grown for companion planting. Many people know about that, but I learned about it from my grandmother, from Nana. I'm gonna come around this way because what's happening is my raspberries are starting to bloom, and besides them blooming and having tons of raspberries to eat soon, what's great about this bloom time is this is usually a lag time of other native plants I have where I don't have flowers for the bees. I did see a few bumblebees on here earlier this morning. So it's great because these come out and you can see this is just loaded with flowers, and this will keep the bees happy, keep them fed, keep them energized, so they're around to pollinate other things in the yard, like the tomatoes, cucumbers, other fun stuff that I want to eat. Over here, I have a mess of, so you can kind of see, if I step back, this is the center of my wild climbing rose. I didn't cut it back too much last year because it had a lot of rose hips on it that I was saving, that I wanted not only for the animals but for my daughter's chinchilla. And so I didn't cut it a lot, so it's already like kind of flopped to that side, flopped a lot to this side. So this fall I'll be cutting it back a lot. And then look at these giant leaves here. Look how nice that is. So mixed in with this, you can see here, is the clematis virginiana that I have growing out front, is where this plant originally was. Well, originally was at my old place, but it's doing really well here. You can see here's another stem of it over here that I'm going to have to keep track of. So you see, here's the wild climbing rose. The stuff gets back into my neighbor's yard, and I gotta cut it back. And then we do have some common milkweed, not blooming, but growing here. I have not seen any monarchs yet. I mean, I feel like it's a little early, but I know other people in northern Illinois who have. And then I also have growing here the scarlet bee balm. And then here we have some common violet, the common blue violet, which is interesting that there's even any here, because if you come over here, you can see this has been eaten here. And then you can see here, this has really been eaten. Thanks to I have two little baby bunnies. Look at all that. This is basically free. You know, common blue violet is our state flower. It grows like crazy everywhere. You don't really have to buy it. You just have to allow it to come into your yard. And so it's essentially free, and the rabbits will eat it, and hopefully that contains them a bit. Okay, let's see what else we got. Come around this way. We'll do, let's see, I don't know if the outer edges and then go in, because there's a lot going on. I do have to trim. This is here. Let me step back. This is the gooseberry. Very full of leaves, looking very lovely. We do have berries this year. Last year we did not. The year before was the first year the berries came. They're really reminiscent, let's see these, of grapes, kind of the way they look to me. And then when these guys, let's pull this up, when these are ready, when they're ready to eat, they'll be like a blush color. And so we do have quite a few mixed in, but I still have a feeling that, let's see, there's one down there. Wait, let's see if we can get. I have a feeling like I should have a lot more. I gotta read up more on. I did trim it this last fall, which is why it's kind of spread flat against the fence, and not sticking out into the path like it usually does. Opening it up, airing it out. Now I'm gonna have to cut all this back. And I have this little tiny one here. I was thinking, I don't know if you want a gooseberry because I don't know. Let's see. Let's get a good view here. On the new branches, they are just full of thorns. They're very difficult to handle. But I have to trim. Now, this is not looking very, very good because I just cut all the rhubarb finally. I should have cut it a couple weeks ago. I think a squirrel fell on top of it, broke a bunch of them. That's not why this looks this way. It looks this way because I just cut a whole bunch 2 days ago. I will be making a pie this weekend. I'm really behind. It's never happened before with the rhubarb. We did get some common milkweed popped up in here, which it never has. You know how I am. I don't want to pull things, but these don't transplant well. And I might pull this guy because he's just right. Yeah, I'm just going to pull this guy. He's just right here, and this is not a good spot. Yeah, I don't like that. And then there's another one right here. And I know that it has the roots underneath, and that's really not necessarily going to stop this guy from coming back, but that's just going to be too big in the front of the garden. Now, look at how big this bee balm is inside the fencing. I had to put the fencing up for the blueberries because the rabbits ate them down the year before. And I don't even know if there's a berry on this one. This one had berries last year. And I don't think there's any berries on it this year. There's my chives. I have cut a lot of these chives back, but this is a big, big chive plant. Now here on this blueberry plant, you can see I do have some. I have a few clusters like that throughout. I'm not going to try to get in there and find them. But yeah, I don't know if I need to be fertilizing better or if it's the way that they are, that I trimmed them. I don't know. And here's my other rhubarb plant over here. Now, this is my first little bed, and in it, I do have to trim these guys. These are Walla Walla onions. I did throw in some chard seeds to grow with them. I do not think that I mean, there's like a tine here. Let me show you. I think I did video this last time, but I might not have posted it. There is a little, I don't know if that's a weed or if that's chard. That's like the only other thing growing in there. And then this bed, this is where I'm putting my tomatoes today. So I wanted to do this before I got the tomatoes in so I can, I don't know, because I always take videos afterwards. Then it's like, what was happening before? So this is my bed. I have these 2 poles in here because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie string around them, and then I'm going to tie the string up here to my cattle fence trellis to help the tomatoes grow straight. And then I did put, I think I told you this before, not sure, I had to put this chicken wire around here because as soon as I planted my stuff, sowed my spinaches and lettuces by seed, I had different lettuce growing in here, and I had to replant with another lettuce I had because squirrels or somebody just jumped right in. You can see my chives flowering here to not only attract the bees to come in for buzz pollination, but also so I can get some seeds out of these chives. And now here's my peas. I have 2 kinds of peas growing here, and I cannot remember which one's which is okay. They're gonna all be peas. Look at how tall though. I know that these tall ones have to be the new seed I got because my peas did not get this tall last year. But last year was the first year I successfully grew peas. So already been harvesting the spinach, which I only had a few seeds of last year. So I'm sorry, I only had a few seeds left over from last year, and so that's what this little tiny patch is. Like you can see, that's just a little tiny patch compared to the rest of the bed, which is red velvet lettuce, that I tossed in later once the other lettuce didn't, got all dug up by whoever came in. And then this here is a bunch of arugula with radishes mixed in. The radishes aren't ready to pick. I did post a little short earlier this morning that had radishes from another little pot I just keep throwing radishes in different places. Look at all this arugula. I mean, it's hard to tell where the radishes are because they're just all mixed in so well. I can see this, let's see, this leaf here is a radish leaf. And then just a couple days ago, if you can see, you can see here, this guy here, there's a cucumber. There's some are just so close to the arugula because the arugula is falling over. There's another one, another two, and then there's like a couple mixed in a little closer. So I got those planted a few days ago. And then this is New Jersey Wakefield cabbage that I don't even understand. I guess maybe it's because my cabbage last year, the first year I grew it, did not do well because it kept getting eaten. But this is so tall, and honest to God, I mean, it looks like celery to me. It's not growing in a ball down there yet, so I gotta tell you, I'm confused, but excited. And if you look back here, I've got my pole beans are starting to vine up. They're in the back. We're companion planting. We're using all of our space as best as we can. Now, let's see. Oops, I should have... Why didn't I open this before I started the video? Okay, sorry about that. So in here, this is mixed leaf lettuce. Again, this was Aunt May's bib lettuce, and I planted this by seed, and then somebody got in here and immediately and like ate everything. And then you can see back here, there are some carrot. Oh, there we go. There's some carrot sprouts there. There's some bigger carrot sprouts here. There's some mushroom that has like is edible, but the ones that looks very similar to it are deadly, so we're gonna leave that. I'm not gonna pick it. But in the middle here should also be carrots, and again, somebody came in and just went to town, so I'll pull this grass out. So what I did is I ended up ordering more carrot seeds, and I just planted them a few days ago and they just came in. So hopefully that'll be fine. And then, oops, this is a little shady here. I also just planted, let's see, it's hard to see. I transplanted that's cayenne pepper. Companion planted with marigolds. And then this is jalapeno, companion planted with scallions. And then this is not jalapeno, companion planted with marigolds. I think, oh, that's not all my food. I have food over here that is not planted yet. So these are the tomatoes. I do not have room for all these tomatoes. I know you've planted your tomatoes, so this will be going to my cousin and my brother. And I don't know if that'll, if they have enough room, but, and then my neighbor just gave me some peppers and basil, which I will mix in with, I'll mix the basil with the tomatoes. And these are the marigolds I grew early that I'm mixing in with the tomatoes. So I'll mix in the marigolds and I'll mix in the basil. These are raspberries, the ever-bearing raspberries that I just pull out of my grass every week. And then there's still a little more food. So look at these parsleys. I bunched a few parsleys together in here. These are looking great. I grow them as well as the dill back here for the black swallowtails, but I've only seen a couple, and I don't know. I might see if anybody wants parsley. There's some little dill growing in here. There's my extra peppers that I just didn't have anywhere to put, so I was trying to decide if I was gonna find another pot or give those away as well. A little more marigolds, teeny tiny dill in there, some more peppers, some more parsley, and I think, oh, and a couple of scallions. So that's the food. And that's the food. Okay. Oh my God, I'm lying. That's not all the food. I've got some baby kale here. I can't remember the exact variety. My aunt gave me those seeds. I've got Walla Walla onion here. I do have, it looks like I've got a violet growing there, but I do have a radish growing there. I don't know what happened to the rest. Squirrel keeps coming and digging in here. And then I have another Walla Walla onion and some radishes. And I did pick some radishes this morning to go in my frittata. And then I have some mint. Now mixed in over here, I have this New England ash that was growing in a bed, so I pulled it. So now we're getting to the native plants. I have some moss that my neighbor gave me that's going to go in the front yard. We'll take a walk out there as well. You can see I do have quite a few things now getting bigger. So these were, native seeds that I had sowed over winter. These guys, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure because I have it written down, not memorized, what's supposed to be growing in there, but a lot of stuff has not germinated in there yet. I do have, you can tell right there, those are red columbine, and a lot of stuff that has not germinated in here. We've got more plants here. I have wild lupine there. And let's just go over here as long as we're talking about that. I have I think they really do like the milk jugs better, and you'll see why here. You can see growing here. Let's see, what was this? This is world milkweed, as well as that. You can see a lot of things are coming up, coming out. Butterfly weed. So I'm thinking, and this is what is that called? Coneflower. It is a specific, which coneflower likes to go in the spring. It's one that doesn't overwinter, so that one is there. I planted in the spring, so they seem to like the milk jugs a lot. All right, let's get to the good stuff, the native stuff. I mean, food's really good too. So this is about a week in of the wild indigo blooming, so it does not last long. Oh, I didn't even show, I meant to show you. Because I have a flower that started on the pea plants. This is exactly what the pea plant flower looks like. In here is where the stamen is, the anther, and where the pollen is. And you need a bumblebee that can push into it. This is one of the reasons why native bees and bumblebees are so important. They're important for pollination. They pollinate, including food plants with buzz pollination that other bees don't, and like honeybees, and why it's important. So this is the blue-stemmed goldenrod that will bloom in September. Now here you've got, see, the geraniums have gone to seed. Well, they're not, I don't think the seed is ready yet, but they're in their pods. And then because it's later in the day, I'm out here afternoon, the Ohio spiderwort, which has started blooming. Oh wait, here's one that's nice and open. They usually close up once you get to the heat of the day. This is the smaller plant, and look at this. This is so sad. I came out here this morning. The reason this is down here is because a rabbit bit it off because the fencing is short. I just did it to keep it, alive so it wouldn't get eaten up by the rabbits, but it's ended up, the flower's head is gone. So that's the Ohio spiderwort. Down here, see this cool plant down here? Nice and low growing, fills in the fronts nicely. This is Missouri primrose, evening primrose. We'll get big yellow flowers. They'll come out in the evening. You'll see them in the morning too. Then I have milkweed popping up in a new place. This is going to be great because These guys usually come out late every year. This is my butterfly weed. Look at this. It's finally doing great. Like, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of heads for the, the flowers. This is gonna be great. I'm very excited about that. Okay, mixed in here we have the bee balm. Oops, sorry, I'm in the shade here. We have still some here, let's see. Golden Alexander in bloom. We have the red columbine still hanging on. This won't be for long. We're at the end of their season. Right in here, we have prairie coreopsis, which I purchased last year from a nursery. So all of this down here, this is all part of the Golden Alexander. Now, of course, I haven't seen anybody on the Golden Alexander, but this is a native host plant for the swallowtail. And here, sorry, there's another view, a view of the leaves. Let's see what else is going on in here. So back there is, so we have the leaves that have fallen down of the hyacinth. You can see they take up a lot of space, but the tall stalks are the New England aster, which will also bloom in the fall and bring in, be good end of year pollinating plants, food sources for bees and migrating monarchs. What's funny is, it's not funny, but this was where the Virginia bluebells were, and you can see here, these were violets. The rabbits have been really digging in. I'm only concerned about things where I threw seed and don't have a reference for, like the cardinal flower and stuff. That they'll eat anything, basically, even stuff that they don't normally eat when it's coming up and it's tender. So this looks very sparse. I don't know if anything else is going to come and fill in. I might have to fill in some plants with some of those ones that I've overwintered, that I winter sown. Now here is a beautiful, this is also, last year was really nice, this year's really nice. This might be the 5th summer of mountain mint, which will get a lot of little white flowers. Pollinators love it. Behind, let me see if I can get in here without stepping on anything. I'm also very excited because here, let's see, let me try to find this so you can see it too. Here is why can't I say a floral head? This is not that's gonna bloom. That's gonna be a flower. I can't think of the right word. This is blue flag iris. So this is native. I have a few buds. There it is. I have a few buds mixed in here. Oh, look at this one's. Oh, let's see. See how purple that is? I don't know if you can even tell. It's very dark. This is going to be very beautiful. This will be blooming for the first time. I bought it. This would be the 3rd summer, which means I planted it 2 years ago. Now here's some red columbine that's already done blooming back here. Here is the summer phlox, which it will be purple. And I do need to thin and cut back. There should be cardinal flower in here. This is where the cardinal flower was last year. I do have to thin out. There's a bunch of, because it's reseeded itself, the summer phlox. Here's the white summer phlox. You can see how much bigger that one is than this one in the front. I really don't want them to be big, too big in this, native bed. And then we have more geranium here. You can see these guys just finished. They haven't even formed seed heads yet. And then, of course, the milkweed that just populates itself wherever it feels like. It's never where you started it out, which sometimes is fine. Sometimes is a real pain because it doesn't transplant well. And I don't want to get rid of it because it's so important to the monarch. But it's important to 70 other insects as well. It is like its own ecosystem. It's amazing, all of the insects you see out there. We're gonna go to the front yard, see a couple different things going on there. I have my little corner, it's very shady, of native bed that I've had here for a long time. This is the Clematis virginiana. I originally planted it here and here. Well, originally meaning when I moved in, because you know, originally it was at our first house. And it has gone gangbusters and is taking over. I also have the Joe Pye weed, which gets really tall. You can see the stake I have here is there for a reason, because they get super tall. Now this interesting little, see this leaf? This is a violet, but it is a prairie violet. You can see I've got another one there. It does not spread much, but it has competition with that it likes to get eaten because the rabbits will come and eat all the violets. Here we have Penstemon digitalis, the foxglove fleabane. Then this is the American germander. You can see the American germander. When I traded it for something else, I can't remember what I gave the gal, but she was like, oh, this will take over. It likes to go everywhere. I'm like, great. I got a spot that needs to be filled in. So it's doing it. It's finally doing it. Now here's another. Let's get a nice shot of that. Here's another Penstemon digitalis. And I did manage to put fencing up around here. These are the Michigan lilies. Last year, let's see, here we go. These are amazingly beautiful orange blooms, so delicate. Last year, they got eaten. I have a couple more in here. I don't think they're going to bloom, but I remembered to keep this fencing around it so when they popped up, they wouldn't get eaten. I only had them bloom the year before, and then last year they were eaten. Here's petunia. I don't know if this is wild or smooth. And then I have some, I don't know if these are wood phlox, but I have a couple of different kinds of phlox in here. And then, this might be a little tiny Ohio spiderwort. But here's the big deal. And it looks like nothing right now. I put leaves all over here in January in an effort to kill the grass because we're making a native garden in the front this year, and that's what a lot of those winter sown native plants are for. I'm taking down this yew, non-native yew. I'm going to put a fountain there, a low fountain with shallow pools so the birds can use it and have water, moving water. This is also the most shady spot in the front yard. Really, I'm not going to put it right there. I'm going to put it over where you see that shade. The only things growing out here are this New Jersey tea plant, which I've had for a few years now. I might see if I can dig this one up and put them in here. Make it look a little bit more like a grouping. Initially, you know, I couldn't because this was all grass. I'm going to have a path. This isn't quite right. It's going to go from back there around there. And then these are coral berry shrubs I bought from Possibility Place this spring. Those are going to attract a lot of butterflies, moths, pollinators. That's going to be great. And then this wasn't part of the plan. I was going to do 3 of those. But this is a white dogwood, and the Arbor Day Foundation sent it for free, along with lots of other trees that, you know, I gave away to people because I don't have, I can't grow a bunch of trees here. Anyway, so it's getting a fair amount of sun right now though, but it's very limited amount of sun. This is north facing, but this is going to be a native front yard with a nice path and a water feature. And so that's my extremely long video. Now you're caught up. Of course, things will be different in a couple weeks, but I'll post a new video when there's new stuff going on. And thanks for staying and listening to my long ass video, Kim. Even though it's not COVID anymore, we hardly see each other. And you know, I like to keep you updated on what I'm doing because as much as gardeners love to garden, gardeners also love to share. But I'll talk to you later. Ciao.